In 2023, the financial world was shaken when one of America's largest banks, Silicon Valley Bank, collapsed in mere hours, leaving thousands of customers unable to access their funds overnight. This wasn't an isolated incident. History is littered with banking crises, from the devastating 2008 financial meltdown to more recent failures that exposed the fragility of the system we're taught to trust. Your hard-earned money, sitting idly in a savings account, is quietly losing its value to inflation, earning negligible interest that barely covers a cup of coffee, and remains vulnerable to risks like political interference, economic instability, or sudden bank closures. What if there's a smarter, safer way to manage your wealth? In this guide, I'll introduce 7 assets that offer better protection and growth potential than the traditional bank account. These options are designed to safeguard your purchasing power, generate passive income, or hedge against systemic risks, and one might catch you by surprise. It's controversial but increasingly popular among savvy investors. Before we explore these alternatives, I want to hear from you. Have you or someone close to you ever faced a banking crisis? Perhaps during the 2008 crash or a more recent disruption. Maybe you've experienced frozen accounts or restricted withdrawals. Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could inspire or caution others to take control of their finances. Now, let's dive into the economic challenges we're facing in 2025 and why rethinking where you store your money is more urgent than ever. The economic reality in 2025. Today's economic landscape is far from reassuring, and it's impacting your savings more than you might realize. Inflation in the U.S. remains persistent at around 2.8% annually, which means the purchasing power of your money is shrinking even as it sits safely in your bank account. The Federal Reserve has kept interest rates above 4.25%, signaling a tight monetary policy that makes borrowing expensive and slows economic growth, putting pressure on businesses and consumers alike. Banks, even those considered too big to fail, are not immune to this strain. Silicon Valley Bank's overnight collapse in 2023 was a stark reminder that no institution is invincible. Adding to the uncertainty, new import tariffs introduced in 2025 are expected to drive inflation even higher, further eroding the value of your savings. Meanwhile, the average bank account pays a pitiful interest rate, often less than 0.5%, which is dwarfed by everyday expenses like parking fees or a quick lunch. Your money isn't just stagnant, it's exposed to systemic risks, from bank failures to government policies that can freeze or devalue your funds without warning. This harsh reality demands a shift in how we approach wealth preservation. The 7 assets I'm about to share are practical, strategic alternatives that can protect your financial future in a world where traditional banking is no longer the safe haven it once seemed. Let's explore these options, starting with one of the most secure investments available today. Asset 1. Treasury bonds, the safe bet. Treasury bonds are one of the most reliable ways to protect your money, offering a level of security that banks simply can't match. When you buy a treasury bond, you're essentially lending money to the U.S. government, which promises to repay you with interest over a set period. Backed by the full faith and credit of the government, these bonds are considered virtually risk-free, making them a cornerstone for cautious investors. In 2025, Treasury bonds are yielding over 4% annually, with some longer-term options offering even higher returns, far surpassing the meager interest rates of most savings accounts. This makes them an attractive choice for anyone seeking stability, predictable income, and a shield against economic turbulence. During times of market volatility or financial crises, Treasury bonds often increase in value as investors worldwide rush to safe assets, providing an added layer of protection. The downside: liquidity can be an issue. If you need to sell before the bond matures, market fluctuations might affect your return, so it's best suited for medium to long-term planning. Getting started is straightforward. You can purchase bonds directly from Treasury Direct Gov with as little as $100, or use brokerage platforms like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, or Vanguard for more flexibility and options. Treasury bonds combine safety, steady returns, and resilience, making them a powerful tool for anyone looking to secure their wealth without the risks tied to banks. If you value peace of mind and want your money to work harder, Treasury bonds are an excellent starting point. Asset 2. Real estate. Build wealth with property. Real estate is a tangible, time-tested asset that can anchor your financial strategy while offering multiple ways to grow your wealth. Unlike money languishing in a bank, properties often appreciate over time, act as a hedge against inflation, and can generate consistent rental income, providing both growth and cash flow. Despite a temporary slowdown in the U.S. housing market in 2024, 2025 is showing strong signs of recovery, particularly in high-demand areas like Charlotte, Phoenix, and Tampa, where property values have surged by 35% over the past 3 years. This kind of growth demonstrates why real estate remains a favorite among investors. It's a physical asset you can see and touch, and it holds intrinsic value even in uncertain times. A well-chosen property can become a wealth-building engine, offering returns that dwarf the negligible interest from a bank account. However, real estate isn't without challenges. Property taxes, maintenance costs, and the risk of vacancies require careful planning and research. Choosing the right location and property type is critical to maximizing your investment. For those who don't have the capital for a down payment or prefer a more hands-off approach, real estate investment trusts, REITs, like Fundrise or Realty Mogul, allow you to invest in diversified property portfolios through the stock market, starting with as little as a few $100s. These platforms make real estate accessible to nearly everyone, offering a way to benefit from property appreciation and rental income without the responsibilities of direct ownership. Whether you're buying a rental home or investing in a RIT, real estate provides stability, growth, and the potential for passive income, making it a cornerstone of any smart financial plan. Asset 3. Gold, the ultimate safe haven. Gold has been a symbol of wealth and security for thousands of years, and its enduring value makes it a powerful alternative to bank savings. In an era of economic uncertainty, where governments print money and banks face recurring crises, gold remains a steadfast store of value, unaffected by inflation or currency devaluation. In 2025, gold prices have soared to over $3,000 per ounce, driven by global geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, and fears of economic instability, making it one of the most sought-after assets. Its scarcity, only a finite amount exists, along with its physical, indestructible nature, ensures that gold retains its worth when other investments falter. Central banks around the world are increasing their gold reserves, a clear signal that even the largest institutions view it as a critical hedge against systemic risks. You can invest in physical gold through reputable dealers like Kitco or Bullion Vault, which offer bars or coins, or opt for gold exchange-traded funds, ETFs, like SPDR Gold Shares, GLD, for convenience and lower storage costs. While gold doesn't generate income like dividends or rent, and its price can fluctuate in the short term, its role as financial insurance is unmatched. Legendary investor Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger, once noted gold's value as a last resort for families fleeing persecution, underscoring its reliability in extreme scenarios. For those seeking a timeless asset to protect against economic collapse or currency erosion, gold is a proven choice. If you want a piece of wealth that stood the test of time, consider adding gold to your portfolio. Asset 4. Collectibles, wealth with style. Collectibles and luxury items, from rare watches to vintage cars to limited edition sneakers, are emerging as a surprisingly lucrative alternative to traditional investments. These assets combine scarcity, cultural significance, and aesthetic appeal, often appreciating faster than stocks or bonds. For example, a 1970s Patek Philippe watch recently sold for $31 million, while certain Pokémon cards have skyrocketed 400% in value over the past decade, outperforming many conventional markets. In 2025, the market for collectibles is booming, fueled by a growing community of enthusiasts and investors willing to pay a premium for exclusivity. What makes these assets unique is their ability to blend financial growth with personal enjoyment. You might wear a rare Rolex or display a piece of fine art while its value climbs. Platforms like Otis, Collectible, or Masterworks have democratized this space, allowing everyday investors to buy fractional shares in high-value items like classic cars or contemporary artwork, starting with investments as low as $100. However, collectibles require patience and expertise. Markets can be illiquid, and selling may take time or specialized knowledge. Missteps, like buying fakes or overhyped items, can lead to losses, so research is essential. Still, for those with a passion for unique assets and a long-term perspective, collectibles offer a way to diversify your portfolio while adding a touch of sophistication. Have you ever considered investing in something like art or rare coins? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're exploring in this space. Asset 5. Physical cash control in a crisis. It might seem counterintuitive to call physical cash an asset, but keeping a small reserve of paper money at home can be a lifesaver when digital systems fail. During banking crises, like those in Greece in 2015, Lebanon in 2019, or even the Silicon Valley Bank collapse in 2023, people were left stranded. ATMs ran out of cash, bank accounts were frozen, and digital payments became useless. These real-world examples highlight the vulnerability of relying solely on bank accounts or card payments. A modest cash reserve, securely stored in a fireproof safe, gives you immediate access to funds during emergencies, whether it's a power outage, a natural disaster, or a sudden bank closure. Financial experts like Dave Ramsey recommend keeping $1,000 to $2,000 in cash, enough to cover 1 to 2 months of essential expenses like food, gas, or lodging. This isn't about stashing your entire savings under the mattress. It's about having a practical backup for worst-case scenarios when technology or institutions let you down. Cash doesn't earn interest or appreciate, and storing too much can invite risks like theft, so discretion and moderation are key. Still, in a world increasingly dependent on digital transactions, a small amount of physical currency offers unmatched independence and peace of mind. Imagine being stuck without access to funds during a crisis. Physical cash ensures you're never caught off guard. It's a simple, low-cost way to add resilience to your financial strategy. Asset 6. Your own business. Create your wealth. Building your own business is perhaps the most empowering asset on this list, offering unparalleled control over your financial future. Unlike money parked in a bank, where it earns next to nothing and remains at the mercy of external forces, a business generates cash flow, grows with your vision, and can scale to transform your life. You don't need to launch the next Amazon. Small ventures like a freelance service, an online store, or a local bakery can yield returns that far outstrip the 0.5% interest of a savings account. In 2025, starting a business is easier than ever, thanks to platforms like Shopify for e-commerce, Fiverr for freelancing, or Etsy for handmade goods, which let you launch with minimal upfront costs. Consider Sarah, who began selling custom pet portraits online with a $300 investment. Within 18 months, she was earning $8,000 a month. Businesses carry risks, market competition, time commitment, and initial losses are real, but they also offer rewards no bank can match. A well-run business can provide 50%, 100%, or even higher returns, depending on your strategy and execution. Plus, it's an asset you fully control, from pricing to growth plans. Historical examples abound. Oprah Winfrey started with a small radio show, and Spanx founder Sarah Blakely turned $5,000 into $1 billion empire. With dedication and a clear plan, your business can be a wealth-building machine. If you're ready to take charge of your finances, starting a side hustle or small venture could be your most rewarding investment. Asset 7. Cryptocurrencies, the future of money. Cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, are the most polarizing asset on this list, often dismissed as speculative yet impossible to ignore due to their meteoric rise. Since its inception, Bitcoin has grown from a $100 investment in 2010 to over $100,000 in 2025, outpacing every traditional asset over the past decade. Unlike dollars, which governments can print endlessly, Bitcoin is decentralized, capped at 21 million coins, and operates beyond the control of banks or borders. This scarcity and independence make it a compelling hedge against inflation and systemic failures. In 2025, major institutions like Tesla, BlackRock, and even governments like El Salvador are embracing Bitcoin, with the latter adopting it as legal tender. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETFs have made it easier for mainstream investors to participate, signaling a shift toward acceptance. However, crypto is not without risks. Price volatility can be stomach-churning, and scams are rampant, so thorough research is essential. Starting small on trusted platforms like Binance, Kraken, or Coinbase allows you to dip your toes in with as little as $10. Bitcoin's 24/7 global liquidity and resistance to political manipulation make it a unique asset for the digital age. As BlackRock CEO Larry Fink recently stated, Bitcoin is evolving into a global store of value, akin to digital gold. While it's not for everyone, a small allocation to crypto could be a prudent way to diversify and protect against the cracks appearing in traditional financial systems. If you're intrigued by the potential of a borderless, inflation-resistant asset, cryptocurrencies deserve a closer look. What's your next step? These 7 assets, treasury bonds, real estate, gold, collectibles, physical cash, your own business, and cryptocurrencies, offer diverse, strategic ways to protect and grow your wealth far beyond what a bank account can provide. Each addresses different needs, from safety and stability to growth and innovation, allowing you to tailor your approach to your goals and risk tolerance. Which of these are you most excited to explore and why? On a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable was this guide in shaping your financial strategy? Share your thoughts, plans, or questions in the comments below. I read every response and am genuinely invested in your financial journey. Your feedback not only helps me create better content, but also fosters a community where we can learn from each other's experiences. Let's take control of our wealth together and build a more secure future.